With such a big lecture hall like that, if every student had a question, tried to ask it in class, we wouldn't get anything else done. But on Piazza, you can just ask a question, and then students can work together to come up with an answer, and then professors can also respond and say, like, this is how you should be doing it. I felt like Piazza helped us to stay a little bit more connected, even between sections, because we could just kind of have a big forum where we all ask questions, discuss things. I feel like if one person asks a question, there are 10 other people in the class who had that question who just either didn't know that they didn't know the answer or just didn't want to ask or didn't ask. So I think it's really helpful that you can have all the questions and answers in one place. And so if you don't know something, it's just right there. You don't have to worry about it. Eventually, I started asking a couple questions if I had needed help on stuff and also trying to answer other students' questions. And I always tried to read the questions because it was interesting to see other students asking about clarification for things that I hadn't even thought of but didn't necessarily know the answer to. Personally, I probably really only asked a couple questions throughout the course of the semester on Piazza, and I think they were mostly related to homework things, but there were students who asked questions about other wider areas, and I thought that was really interesting, even just clarification on some example we did in class, or trying to generalize it to a broader case. Yeah, because when I saw a question I thought I knew the answer to, then of course I tried to answer it, but then I realized I had to actually know the answer well enough to type it out in words that made sense and explain it to somebody else in a way that they could also understand. So it definitely helped my understanding because I had to make sure I really knew the material if I was going to answer one of these questions. So I'd say the only time I've ever used the Blackboard discussion board is for classes where we have to post responses to things, or in one of my classes last semester we posted the first paragraph of one of our essays so we could read each other's. So it wasn't really so much about asking just questions that you might come across while working on the project. The professor set up Piazza for us to use and to help us, whereas the Blackboard discussion board is kind of just to post things for professors to see. And so it felt like we kind of had control of the Piazza, and so we could use it however we wanted in the class.